Direct Action Day, also known as the Great Calcutta Killings, was a day of communal violence that took place on August 16, 1946 in the city of Calcutta, now Kolkata, in the British Indian province of Bengal. The violence was sparked by a call for a general strike and direct action by the Muslim League, a political party that was demanding the creation of a separate Muslim state, Pakistan, to be carved out of British India. The background and lead-up to Direct Action Day were rooted in the growing communal tensions between Hindus and Muslims in the lead-up to the British withdrawal from India. Communal tensions between Hindus and Muslims in Bengal had been building for many years, with various historical, social, economic, and political factors contributing to the divide. One of the main historical factors was the long history of Muslim influence and presence in Bengal, dating back to the 13th century when Muslim armies first invaded the area. Throughout the centuries, there were waves of Muslim immigrants, traders, and rulers that settled in Bengal, which led to a significant Muslim population in the region. The economic factors also played a role in the communal tensions, with Muslims often being in the minority in terms of business and land ownership, which contributed to feelings of economic marginalization. Additionally, the British colonial rule in Bengal also had a major impact on the communal tensions. The British policy of divide and rule, which favoured certain communities over others in terms of economic and political power, exacerbated the communal divide. For the majority of its history, Bengal was ruled by Muslim dynasties. The Mughals ruled Bengal for a significant period of time, and the region was also ruled by Muslim Nawabs and sultans. However, the British colonial rule in Bengal also had a major impact on the communal tensions. The British policy of divide and rule, which favoured certain communities over others in terms of economic and political power, exacerbated the communal divide. It's possible that some Hindus may have seen British rule as a way to seize power back in Bengal, which could have made Muslims insecure about losing control of their sultanates. The British colonial rule also led to a significant change in the demographics of Bengal, with a large number of Hindu immigrants coming from other parts of India to work in the British-run industries and businesses. This led to a shift in the balance of power and may have contributed to feelings of insecurity among the Muslim population. The Muslim League, under the leadership of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, had been demanding a separate Muslim state for years, but the Congress Party, led by Mahatma Gandhi, had resisted this demand. The British government, meanwhile, had announced plans to transfer power to an interim government, but had not yet decided on the details of how this would be done. Muslims first arrived in Bengal during the 13th century when Muslim armies invaded the region. Over the centuries, waves of Muslim immigrants, traders, and rulers settled in Bengal, leading to a significant Muslim population in the region. During the medieval period, Bengal was ruled by Muslim dynasties, such as the Mughals and the Afghan rulers. However, it is important to note that the population of Bengal was not entirely Muslim. There were also a significant number of Hindus and other religious groups living in the region. The Muslim rulers of Bengal did not enforce a policy of forced conversions, and many Bengalis converted to Islam gradually over time, through a process of assimilation and cultural exchange. Many Bengali converts to Islam came from the lower castes of Hindu society, who were attracted by the egalitarian message of Islam and saw it as an opportunity to escape the rigid caste system. However, it's also important to note that not all conversions were voluntary. Some were due to coercion and forced conversion by military conquerors. Despite the fact that Muslims ruled Bengal for several centuries, Hindus remained well represented in business and powerful positions. This is because Hindu merchants and traders played a significant role in the region's economy and were able to maintain a degree of autonomy under Muslim rule. Additionally, the British colonial rule in Bengal also had an impact on the economic and political power dynamics, as the British favoured certain communities over others in terms of economic and political opportunities, which led to a shift in the balance of power. The Muslim League was founded in 1906 by a group of Muslim leaders, in Dhaka, Bengal Presidency, British India. The founders of the Muslim League were motivated by the belief that the Muslim community in British India was not adequately represented in the political process, and that their rights and interests were not being protected. The Muslim League was established to give a voice to India's Muslim minority and to promote their political and economic interests. The Muslim League believed that the creation of a separate Muslim state, Pakistan, should be carved out of British India. In particular, the Muslim League leadership in Bengal believed that the Muslim-majority areas of Bengal should be included in Pakistan. They argued that the Muslim minority in Hindu-majority areas of Bengal would be better protected in a Muslim-majority state. There were many Muslims in Bengal, as the region had a long history of Muslim influence and presence, dating back to the 13th century when Muslim armies first invaded the area. Throughout the centuries, there were waves of Muslim immigrants, traders, and rulers that settled in Bengal. Additionally, the region had a high population of Muslims due to the fact that Bengal was an important center of trade and commerce and attracted a diverse population of people including Muslims, thus making it a diverse and cosmopolitan region. The politics behind Direct Action Day were complex, but at its core, it was a manifestation of the deep-seated communal tensions between Hindus and Muslims in India. The Muslim League saw the creation of Pakistan as the only way to protect the rights and interests of India's Muslim minority, while the Congress Party, led by Gandhi, argued that India's Muslims would be better protected by remaining within a united, secular India. One of the main social factors was the religious and cultural differences between the two communities. Economic factors also played a role, with Muslims often being in the minority in terms of business and land ownership, which contributed to feelings of economic marginalization. Political factors such as the British government's plans to transfer power without clear plans on how to handle communal tensions further fueled the conflict. On Direct Action Day itself, large-scale communal violence broke out in Calcutta and quickly spread to other parts of Bengal. Hindu and Muslim mobs attacked each other, and the police and military were unable to control the situation. The death toll from the violence is estimated to be around 4,000, with most of the victims being Muslims. The ending and outcome of Direct Action Day was that it led to a further escalation of communal tensions and violence in Bengal. This ultimately led to the Great Calcutta Killing of 1946, which resulted in the deaths of around 4,000 people, most of them Muslims. The violence also led to the mass migration of Hindus and Muslims from Bengal, as well as the partition of Bengal along communal lines. The Noakhali riots, also known as the Noakhali genocide, was a series of massacres, abductions, forced conversions, and forced displacements during October-November 1946, in the Noakhali district and Tipra district of Bengal, British India, now in Bangladesh. The violence was committed by Muslim mobs against the Hindu minority, and resulted in the deaths of an estimated 5,000 to 10,000 people, most of them Hindus. The Noakhali riots were sparked by the communal violence that had erupted in Calcutta and other parts of Bengal following Direct Action Day. The riots were a backlash against the Hindu minority in Noakhali, who were perceived as having supported the Muslim League's demand for Pakistan. The violence was also fueled by the long-standing economic and social tensions between the Hindu and Muslim communities in the region. The outcome of the Noakhali riots was that they further exacerbated the communal tensions and violence that were already tearing apart British India. They also led to the mass migration of Hindus and Muslims from the region, as well as the partition of Bengal along communal lines. In the aftermath of these events, Bengal was left deeply scarred and divided. Jinnah and Gandhi, meanwhile, continued to play major roles in the struggle for Indian independence. Jinnah's Muslim League went on to demand and eventually achieved the creation of Pakistan, while Gandhi continued to lead the Congress Party and advocate for a united, secular India. Despite the political and economic instability, as well as communal violence, that followed the partition, Bangladesh has now become a thriving Muslim-majority country. It is now performing well compared to its peers in the region, such as India and Pakistan, in areas such as economic growth and human development.